Welcome back to First Look, the show where we give you a sneak peek at a brand new upcoming game. This one is called Thanos Rising. It's from USAopoly. It revolves around the Marvel Cinematic Universe. There's been 18 movies that started in 2008 with Iron Man. Finally, we get to see the big baddie that's been looming for the past 10 years.
Yeah, all culminating in Infinity War coming out pretty soon. This game is going to be coming out in April, just before the movie, and it pretty much revolves around the concept of everything leading up to that.
So this is a purely cooperative game. It is a dice game in which you'll be rolling your dice. Each player is going to represent one of the main heroes. Each of these heroes is going to have a base in front of them that tells them exactly what powers they have. Their hero is going to have a power, and it's also going to tell you which of the different types of power dice you get to use. There's 4 different types of power dice, and they all do different types of things.
Yeah, these dice have very different icons all over them that you're basically going to be using to either recruit new heroes or defeat some villains. You have to do all of this and basically survive through the rest of the game until you've either defeated some villains or they've defeated you.
Yeah, so the idea is the game is scalable. You can defeat 7 villains on the easy scale, or you can try to defeat all 10 villains that are in this giant deck. Now, in this giant deck of cards, you have both heroes and you have villains. The villains are represented by the Black Order. If you guys are familiar with Marvel, Thanos has a group of 4, I don't want to say they're horsemen, but they're 4 baddies. You have Proxima Midnight, Corvus Blade, Cull Obsidian, and Ebony Maw. Now, I cannot wait to see these in the movies because they're going to be super powerful villains.
Yeah, and this is the first time we've seen, we've seen Thanos and these guys, so it's going to be really interesting to see.
We could actually see them now, which is cool.
This has been a real thrill for us to take a peek at this game, too. We've had it for about, I don't know, a couple weeks now, and had to keep it really tight-lipped, so we've played it a few times, we're finally able to share a little bit about it with you.
Yeah, let's talk about how the game is structured. So as I said, each player has a hero and a base in front of them. You have this giant Thanos statue. Now, he's going to sit on this board that has 3 different sections on it. Each of these sections is going to have 3 cards that will come out at particular times. At the start of the game, they're going to be randomized completely. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to decide where to send your hero, which one of those sectors. If you face Thanos, you're probably going to get beat up from him, so you probably don't want to go in those areas. But the area that you do decide to go to determines which type of heroes you're trying to recruit and possibly which villains you're trying to beat up.
Yeah, basically on any given turn, you're going to be placing that token out there to signify which of those zones you want to go into. And like Jeremy said, you're going to either be recruiting a hero from that zone or trying to take out one of the villains in that zone. The whole goal of this, on the hero side of things, from the co-op standpoint, is to defeat as many of Thanos' baddies as possible. Like Jeremy said, you can start with 7 or you can go all the way up to 10. So you can go into those zones and hopefully you're going to go into those places when Thanos is maybe
facing in a different direction.
Looking in another direction.
Yeah, so 3 ways that the game can end. 1, as we said, if you are able to defeat an X number of the villains. A second way that the game can end, which is the bad way.
Yeah, there's a number of bad ways that it can end.
As I said, you have a base and a hero in front of you. If you only end up with a base and all of your heroes have been defeated, the entire team loses. And then you'll see over here a secondary board. These are the 6 Infinity Stones, which are so popular in the movies. Where's the Soul Stone? We don't know yet.
Yeah.
However, the Soul Stone is on the board, and what this is going to represent is Thanos going around trying to collect these gems and place them onto his gauntlet. What's unique is that every time he places one of these cubes up on a specific area, when it fills up, he then acquires that gem, turning this disc over and giving him a new power for the rest of the game.
Yeah, the game, like any good co-op, just continues to get harder and harder. This is not an easy pushover of a game, for sure.
It is not.
This is going to push all the same buttons that any good co-op does in terms of like, wow, this is hard. How are we going to do this? So everyone around the table really has to coordinate and cooperate with what they're doing, discussing, okay, what villains do we need to take out? This guy's been a pain in our neck for a while. Let's get him. That sort of thing. So you really need to put a lot of effort into cooperating.
Yeah, absolutely. If he collects all 6 of these Infinity Gems, that is the other way that the game ends. So 3 possible ways. 1 that's good for everyone. Obviously, the other 2 ways are not so good because you will lose as a team.
Yeah, and finally, there's one last way that the game can end, and that's if 10 heroes in all have been defeated. So even if I've protected some of mine and Jeremy's protected some of his, if the stack of defeated heroes is 10 or more, that's game over as well. So
Right.
there's all sorts of ways this thing's going to end, and one way to win.
We don't want to reveal too much about the game at this point, so we invite you guys to come back in a couple weeks when we'll be introducing a brand new series to Man vs. Meeple called Round 1. We're going to play a full round of the game, and then we're going to go over to the couches and talk about it amongst all four of us.
Yeah, at least one round in that episode for sure. Maybe a couple, just so that you can get a really good feel for it. But suffice it to say, the game is really impressive. For this type of game, you know, you don't see a lot of games based on IP historically coming with a lot of good, meaty gameplay.
Right.
And this thing, for a nice straightforward co-op where you're really racing against all this bad stuff happening, it really offers a lot to all the different types of people who will be playing this.
And if you like hard games, this can be a very challenging game. We have yet to win. We've played it 3 times at least. So, guys, this is Thanos Rising. It's for the new Avengers Infinity War movie, which we cannot wait to go see, coming out in April. This game's also coming out in April. If you guys have any questions, make comments below, and check us out next time.
Bye-bye.